just want to check in with everybody, lock in, see how everybody's doing, man. So this video is going to be 10 successful habits for 2025.
Better learn how to stomp. Still, nigga, play on my name, that'll be his last breath. Orange flag out my pocket, the left. Long shot, nigga, get that shit out for your chest. Better learn how to.
And we're going to start off with the most important one, I think, is getting enough sleep. So for me, getting 8 hours of sleep is essential, man. Because you don't realize that if you operate on less sleep, and 8 hours might not be for everybody. I would say about 6 to 8 hours. You know, if you can shake it. But anything under that is like your body needs time to recuperate. Especially if you're going to the gym and you're working a lot. Like if you're doing a lot of long days, if you can try to sneak in 6 to 8 hours, that'd be ideal. Number 2, I would say y'all gotta start reading every day. Y'all read every day. I think that your mind is probably the most important muscle. You know, we go to work out, we go to the gym and all that. So it's like, all right, we working out our body, but we also got to work out that mind. You got to flex that mind. You don't never want to let that shit atrophy. And if you know what I mean, you know what I mean. The one thing you can't lose is your mind. Number 3, I would say staying hydrated. The key to just having like your body's a machine that never turns off. So if a car is always running, you got to keep gas, you got to keep oil, you got to make sure everything's good. This is a car that don't turn off, don't shut off. You rest, but your body's still going. So you got to make sure that you're hydrated. Start cooking for yourself more. That's number 4. You want to cook for yourself more. Eating more home cooked meals and just being really aware of what you're putting in your body, opposed to all the stuff that we do put in our bodies that's not really the best for us. Add a little more calorie restriction, if you will, because in the United States, we're all about abundance. If you ever really notice that we can get any size, anything, anytime, you know. We got Uber Eats, Grubhub, we got so many apps to order food. But if you start taking care, if you want to take care of your health and you want to just be more mindful of what you're putting in your body, cook it yourself. I cook and I use a food scale. We 12 pounds down going into the new year. So, hey, I'm trying to hit this goal, man. I'm trying to get there. You got to start exercising more. That's a good habit. If you don't exercise at all, just starting to walk a little bit and kind of just getting your body moving is a really good habit to have. Just moving along and just adding more steps. You don't necessarily have to go to the gym, but if you add more steps and you're just adamant about getting that extra cardio in and just extra work in, it'll mean a lot to your body. Also got to focus on being present more, and I mean limit screen time. Limit the amount of time that we have our phones. I know it's a hard thing to do. Phones are a big component of our life. As I'm an older millennial, so I grew up with technology. Like I grew up and then had technology with phones and all that. So we had phones, but like if we did, it was few and far between, and they had like green screens where you couldn't do anything. So like being a part of it, like being in that generation right below us and the generation below them, you guys are born with like a phone or a tablet in your hand. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with using your phone and tablets, but you just got to limit the amount of time you're interacting on a screen and interact with people in person. And even if you're not interacting with people, if that's not your thing, just get into nature. Go outside, just kind of, put that phone away, and before you start your screens, give yourself like a good 30 minutes to an hour where you're not looking at a screen, where you're not looking at a TV, where you're just kind of say you're doing a little morning ritual, you make coffee, make your bed, do whatever you got to do to start your day, and then you get to your screen, then you can get all the screen time you need. But I would say try to start without limiting stress. Limiting stress is definitely a big factor in your life. A lot of people don't realize, like, man, we live in a constant state of stress. A lot of us, and we don't realize that it can really send us to an early grave. I've been there. Stress was taking me out, and yeah, man, I'm glad I'm no longer living that stressful life. I did a lot of things to minimize it, and building these habits helped me minimize my stress. Meditating more. That's it. Meditating more is another good habit to have. When you meditate, and I'm not talking about like going like sitting down on the ground and going no. I mean like taking time where you free your mind, you take a couple breaths, you just re-lock in, you start there's mindful apps and all that, and that's meditating. You're just getting in tune with your body, and you just breathe in, you breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out, you clear your mind, you just let yourself re-ground for a second. Just let that stuff go. Let the anxieties go, let the depression go for a second, just and you bring yourself back. Just start grounding yourself. It'll definitely help you a lot more in life. Budgeting is one where it's like, okay, I understand that I make this amount of money, I got this money coming in, and these bills are coming out, but it's boring, yes. But you need to track down your spending habits, and if you want to start a savings, you want to do anything with your money, you got to know where your money's going. So you got to start budgeting it. I'm not saying you can't buy whatever you want. Just be very mindful of the purchases you're making. Where, like, if you're spending somewhere where you shouldn't, or you got things that are coming out your account that you thought was canceled, just really get a hold of your finances and budget, because you never know when there's going to be a time for a rainy day. And that just kind of happens sometimes where, life happens and you got to scrape together some money. It's easier when you already got the money aside. So just be really mindful of where your money's going and what you're spending it on. And then if you want to put it towards wherever you want in investing, you'll figure that out. I think I have a video where I talked about just like investing and stuff. I think the very final one we're going to talk about is leisure time. So I say you want to be focused, you want to do all this, but a good habit is being mindful of when you need the time for yourself. And leisure time could be going out to fish, could be spending time with friends and family. It doesn't necessarily have to be all about just having fun, but time for yourself. If working on your car is a pleasure for you, then go out and work on find time to work on your car. If you don't really watch YouTube videos and sometimes like you need it, then that's just your leisure time and your downtime where it's like, okay, this is fun for me. Go ahead, bro, go watch some YouTube. You know what I mean? Don't make a habit of like overly watching YouTube or overly indulging anything, because that's when stuff becomes bad habits. But once in a while, give yourself some leisure time where you don't have to think about what's next. Where, like I said, with the limiting stress, you don't have to, everything doesn't have to be planned out and calculated. Sometimes you just need time to do something where it's like, okay, today for me, like for this whole week I've been cleaning, I've been just doing everything. My leisure time now is actually, for me, is getting in front of this camera. That's a leisure time for me. Or just grabbing food and like kicking it one of the homies for a second. That's leisure time. I don't do it all the time, but when I do it, it helps me decompress and then get locked back in for whatever I got going on. So yeah, I appreciate everybody. If you can see, I'm grinding. I'm just trying to give y'all some game, man. Just because like I know these are the habits that's been helping me for the last like 4 years. Literally, like it sounds simple, but drinking more water, getting enough sleep, meditating, all that stuff, bro. Budgeting is a big one. Especially if you got a little bit of debt you want to knock out, you gotta start budgeting. You gotta figure out what's going on. And sometimes you might have to pick up a second job for a little bit just to get right. It's no shame in that. It's no shame in working. Some people want to just do everything off the internet and all this stuff, but it's no shame in working. And especially if you're working and you grinding, you putting them extra hours in for a reason. But like I said, there's multiple habits that you need. These are just 10 that I realize that is helping me be successful, and it's going to help your 2025 be successful as well. So, hey, I appreciate y'all listening to me. I appreciate y'all rocking with me. I'm 10 Toes Drew. We stand on business. I appreciate all the steppers, man. I appreciate y'all coming to lock in with me, man. As you can see, man, your boy coming in trim. I cut the beard off by mistake. I went to take it down a little bit, try to get that scruffy look, and I ended up having to cut it all the way off. So we go teeing it up for the next couple of weeks. So, man, I appreciate y'all boys, man. I appreciate anybody who's interacting with my content. You have a great day. You have a great rest of your week. The week is coming up. Have some fun. Don't go too crazy. It's the new year, 2025, man. We locking in 10 successful habits of 2025. Let's go.